At times we go through things that make us question our faith, our belief, our religion, even our take in life. But have you ever asked yourself, what would happen if you decided to turn that pain into power? Ladies cry, learn and conquer. My name is Joy and this is Night In with Joy Irungu. An amazing guest today. Her story is that of hope and faith, and every time I see her, talk to her, I'm like, wow, okay, wow, you are a conqueror, yani you are strong. We have Pam Dreda Oyola. Hi.
Hi Joy.
Poa sana. I'm so excited that you may come.
Thank you so much. This is an honor to me. I really appreciate.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm okay.
You okay?
I draw my strength and hope from God. Like truly, He's been there for me. He's been great. He's been gracious, and He's given me the strength even to serve. So I can't say it's actually me, but it's actually God giving me that strength and all that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So tell us, who is Pam?
Pam is a young girl who grew up in Kisumu, and I got married and came over to Nairobi, and I'm born again. Yeah, and we are blessed with 2 boys. Yeah, Brighton and Braden. We thank God for them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You are also a pastor.
Yes, I'm a pastor. By the grace of God, I minister with Deliverance Church Umoja as the teens pastor.
Awesome.
Yes.
How is it being to pastor in the same house? Unajua tunasemanga ukiingia kwa nyumba mnasahau wengine you pastor ama you still continue preaching preaching to each other?
I think when I'm home, I'm a mother and I'm a wife. So I know how to, to differentiate the moment. But above all, Christ, being exalted in everything we do is what matters.
Yeah, true.
Yes.
So how was it for you growing up?
Growing up, I'm the firstborn. We are a family of 4 kids. I'm the firstborn, and we were raised in Kisumu. That's where we went to school. I did my high school in western part of Kenya, and our parents passed on when I was actually after high school, immediately after high school, and then my dad passed on first, and 5 years later my mom passed on. So we grew up, just the 4 of us at home. Yeah, but God has been gracious. God has been good to us. Yes.
I'm sorry for that.
Yeah.
So, just tell us your story.
My journey actually started last year. Last year, I think the month of March. So it's actually 1 year from the time it started. And what happened is prior to that, my son was breastfeeding. So I was supposed to go for a work retreat, and so I was debating, should I go? This was the first time I was going out, outside home. So I was like, should I go or should I not go, because he's still breastfeeding? And I remember my friends insisting that you just go, imagine he'll be fine. When I look back, I was like, I'm glad that happened, because when now I went and 4 days he was not able to breastfeed. When I came back and I was like, should I continue? And my friends are like, no, he can survive. If he survived it for 4 days, he can survive. So that is what happened. We went for the retreat. I came back, and after 4 days, he tried to breastfeed. But I was like, nilika ngumu,
So,
exactly. So he didn't persist, and so that was it. So after I think 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I noticed, because initially I used to think that the breast is, the milk is full, because it has the same feeling with that of a lamb. Little did I know that it was actually a lump. So 3 weeks because now I stopped breastfeeding, I realized that this feeling was still there. So when I noticed this, I kind of panicked, because I think I had an experience with my mom, and I saw everything that happened because she had breast cancer. So I panicked, and I remember telling my friends. And so what I did, they were like, go to hospital. And there's that fear. I don't know what comes with it, but there's just that fear that, you can't.
Let me just cut you short a bit. Is that the reason that your mom passed on with breast cancer?
Yeah, she kind of lived, I think, after being diagnosed. She went through the process of the medication, and that's what she succumbed to. So when one day, I think it was on a Friday, we were going for a retreat now with just to go give our reports for the previous year and give a way forward for the year, because it was around March. So before we went, that was in the evening, I decided, let me go to the hospital. I didn't want anyone to take me. I wanted to hear this by myself. That fear, you don't know whether someone should be there or someone should not be there. So I remember we drove to church. My husband had a meeting with the faculty of the Bible school. So we drove there. Then I told him, let me go to hospital. So I took the car, and while I was driving, I think before I reached the hospital, I was like, I can't do this alone. So I called one of the, two of my daughters from the teens church. They were leaders in teens church, and I was like, Ebu, you come, you take me to hospital. So they took me to the hospital, and I went to a satellite. I didn't go to the major hospital. So when I went there, when the doctor examined me, she was like, I think she got shocked. She was like, the lump was there, and it was big, it was massive. And so I think she kind of put some fear in me, because she was like, oh, you need to call, how many sisters do you have? You need to call your sisters, they also need to be checked, what and it was going so fast. And they did an x-ray. She told me that they have to do, a scan, not an x-ray, a scan to check if it is, what is it? Is it a lump? What is it about? So they tried doing it there at the satellite, and it was not working. Like, they could see it in masses. So they told me I have to go to the main hospital, that is Aga Khan. I have to go to the main hospital. So that is what happened, and we left the hospital. So they wrote for me a letter, just to transfer me to the main hospital. And I was like, remember, I had a retreat in the evening. So I went, told hubby, and we went home to prepare for the retreat. But we decided, let's go pack first, and then we'll pass by the hospital. So into the hospital. And when they did the test again, the same thing was happening. We were not able to see it well. So they told me to come back on Monday for further tests. So that is what happened, and we went for the retreat. I remember even giving my reports, and it was okay. It was a tough moment for me. Of course, you have those split emotions. You're like, you don't know whether it's true, whether it's not true. Yeah.
Wow. So at this point, you just decided, Sawa Basi, I've had this, and was it even easy being at the retreat?
It was not easy. I remember that night, I even went and knocked at Bishop's room, because we were at the hotel, and we asked them to pray with us. And I remember him praying, and those prayers really kept me to date, because he was like, he even quoted Psalm 103. And he even told me that whatever you see, Pam, whatever is here is temporary. Like, if you can see it, it is temporary. So God we'll have to deal with this thing. It was not easy for us. I remember I cried. That was the only day I think I cried.
Oh.
Like, I really cried, and that was it.
Okay.
So the next day, I gave out my report, and I remember I did it so well. So after that, now, because we were leaving that place on Saturday, so Monday was here with us. So Monday, when we went to the hospital, the doctor did the scan again, and he was like, now we have to do something called FNA. I think they kind of check if it's, because when they checked at the scan, they would see some fluid. So they were like, let's try and prick it. We see, as in I kind of put a syringe, and then that's the way FNA is done. And then if I pull it, if it's milk, then we'll know that it is actually milk that is still there. But if it comes out blank, then we'll have to do a biopsy. Then that means that is something else. And when we were in that room, we were there because my husband was there. I was praying, and the room was silent. I was praying, oh God, please just make it to be the milk, And boom, she pulled the syringe, and nothing came out. And we were like, okay. The room went silent. Okay, the doctor was there trying to talk to me. I think she realized the panic. And so she told me we have to do a biopsy. So she did the procedure, and now the results had to come after a week. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I actually even don't know what to say, like right now. I'm thinking there's so many people, if they were in your shoe, wangekuwa wanauliza so many questions, umekas God, umefanya nini? And for you that never happened. Umesema nitashikamana. But definitely kuna zile time ume question so many times.
Yeah, the fear is there. Like, now before we got the results, a week was like a year. It was like 5 years. It was like eternity waiting for the results. You are there, you even want to fast, you even want to rebuke, you want to, and every day you are touching, you're looking at that breast, and you're like, I wish I can wake up in the morning and the lamp is not there, and every day it is so there with you. And I remember now going back on Monday for the results, because it was after a week. When that Sunday night, I think in the morning, when I was just about to wake up, I heard a voice, and that is what kept me going. And the voice went like, test me with this. I didn't know why, I didn't know, but I sure heard that voice. And without even going for the result, I knew that thing was positive. Because why would God tell me to test him with something that, is okay?
Yeah.
So, in other words, I knew I had to trust him despite what was ahead of us. So that kept me going. Of course, that day it was not easy. And the person who gave us the results just, gave us, and we read it before the doctor, and I was there arguing with my husband, and he's like, no, you don't understand English. Because it came something like in inversive, and he's like, inversive is something that is, we are there, trying to put it together. And I think he was doing it deliberately, just to calm me down, or just to, I don't know, to cheer me up or something. Yeah, and that was the day when the news now was given to us. Of course, I won't go into details because it's a long story. But now that is the day when
everything came.
Yes, exactly.
And how has it been for you? Like every day, like I know kuna kwanga zile siku that we normally go for checkup and everything. Every time you go for checkup, do you still have those back memories of this is it, ama you've just decided wacha ni move na hii story yote?
What I'll tell you, those things are there. They are there. There's a fear that comes, and especially it comes in the mind, in the mind, and the devil will tell you, no, you're losing, you can't do this. But there is one thing that has kept me, having faith in God. If you read Hebrews 10:23, it tells you that we should not let our hope in God waver, because whatever he promises, he will fulfill it. He will actually fulfill it. So that has really, because at first I was like, at one moment you're believing, the other moment you're doubting. And you doubt when now you see the facts. When the doctor opens for you that computer and goes to you and tells you, like, maybe you have these years to live, maybe you have, But the moment I chose faith and I decided to cling to faith and to hope in God, because he did it before. You read Romans 8:11, it tells you that the same spirit that raised Jesus from the dead is the same spirit that is within us, and he unleashes it to even our mortal bodies and gives us life. So I have believed in that, knowing that he did it before, he can do it again. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. So that has given me that hope. And that is what, in whatever situation you are in, as in, if you believe in God, because you've seen him do it for others, you've seen him do it before. He promised it, and his promises are yes and amen. He will fulfill it. He will do it. I think where the problem comes is when, and I had those situations when the fear of unknown. You don't know what you don't know what tomorrow holds. You don't know what will happen. Every day we would get bad news, especially when they were staging it. At one point we are told, it's stage 1, the next point it's stage 3B, it's advancing, and you don't know what's happening. Whatever you're told, we're just trying it out. I had no one to rely on apart from God. He gave me the hope. He gave me the faith. He stood with me. I have seen him in ways I cannot explain. So that has kept me going. Yeah.
Wow. So that's true. Tupumzike sasa, tumalize sleepover yetu. I don't know. I know there's so many people who are watching this and they're going through so much pain. I don't know what you can tell them, because clearly you have so much hope, you have so much faith inside of you, and this is ini kitu yenye we lack. As in, even you, at times when I go through some things, unapata sina kaimani kana, it's shaken. But what would you tell people outside there who are literally going through a hard time?
What I can say is that always confess what you want God to do in your life. Confess it without a doubt. If you read the book of Joy 3:10 says, let the weak say I'm strong. So part B, and that has kept me going. That even when I felt the pain, I told God, I kept confessing, I am healed, I am whole. Even when the doctor said, this is not working, I was like, I am whole. It will work, because I'm a child of God. It will work. So one of the things that I can tell people is confess it. Confess it. The devil comes to steal, to kill, and destroy, and that he does it. He will work hard to make sure that he destroys you. He'll work hard to make sure that he steals you. He steals your joy. He steals everything within you. He will make sure he works so hard to even, to finish you up. That is his agenda. But the best thing is that Christ promises life, and life in abundance. So when you know that, you confess life in every situation you are in. Confess life in whatever you're going through. Confess life, because that is your heritage. It is a promise, and God will keep it. Yeah.
Amen. Wow. So, I don't even know what to say. But clearly what Pamela has told us, confess that what you want to see come to pass in your life. Confess it, regardless of whatever you're going through. Everything that you confess, because whatever God has said, his promises are yes and amen, and it shall come to pass. Just confess it. If it's healing, if it's a job, if it's, just confess it. I think that wraps it up for a sleepover story of hope and faith from Pastor Pamela. You've heard her story, whatever she's going through right now, but look at her. Just look at her. She looks amazing. You look amazing.
You, Joy.
She looks so amazing, full of hope, full of faith. And you can only do this with God. Amen. With God. Thank you for tuning in. You can find us on our social media handles, Lady C.L.C. We are always uploading our videos on YouTube at 8 p.m. Pastor Pamela, you can just give them the social media handles. I'm so sure kuna watu wanataka kuinteract na wewe for some encouraging words.
Facebook, Pam Dreda Oyola. Yeah. Instagram, I think is at Dreda or something.
But Facebook, Pam Dreda Oyola. Talk to her. I know there are people who want to talk to you.
Yeah, there are Tales of Dreda there. They can go through.
I actually saw Tales of Dreda.
Yeah.
Very good stories. Her storyline, she has tells 3 from every step. And I always read them, and they're so encouraging, very encouraging. You're doing a good job. And actually, even before we close, let me just tell you, I feel God telling me, through your situation, through whatever you've gone through, Ata bring so many souls to restoration and to healing.
Amen.
And God will bless you mightily.
Amen.
Thank you guys. Sasa wacha tumalize sleepover yetu na tukunywe tu biscuits.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Bye.